press was totally oblivious. In a 1985 New York Times article on Ballard's discovery, the secret Navy mission behind the search for the Titanic remained hidden. The article reported that the Argo's technology may one day be used to locate lost submarines, investigate enemy sonar arrays, and find places on the bottom of the sea to station missiles. In fact, the Argo had already been used to locate lost submarines. At the time, the Navy didn't want to reveal anything about the search for the nuclear subs. They did not want the world to know that, so I had to have a cover story, Ballard explained. After the Navy declassified the mission, Ballard told CNN that the press was totally oblivious to what I was doing. Titanic was discovered too, 37 miles down using remote subs and cameras. The Argo had done what Ballard had designed it to do. The submersible swept the seafloor, transmitting pictures and allowing Ballard's team to find the Titanic. The remote camera located the wreckage 12,000 feet below the surface of the North Atlantic. Ballard's discovery revealed new information about the tragedy. Images from the Argo showed that the Titanic broke apart rather than sinking in one piece. The ship's stern lay about 400 meters away from the bow. Ballard later wrote, "It was one thing to have found the ship. It was another thing to be there. That was the spooky part. I could see the Titanic as she slipped nose first into the glassy water. Around me were the ghostly shapes of the lifeboats and the piercing shouts and screams of people freezing to death in the water." They painstakingly found and tracked the debris trail. On September 1, 1985, with just days left in their expedition, Ballard's research vessel spotted something. The Argo had spent over a week transmitting pictures from the ocean floor, but so far the team had only found sand. Yet around 2 a.m., the on-duty watch team called for Ballard. The Argo had spotted something unusual on the seafloor. As the team examined the grainy image, they realized they'd found a boiler from the Titanic. Ecstatic, the crew popped champagne for a toast. But then the mood grew grave as the crew realized it was nearly the exact time of night that the Titanic had sunk 73 years earlier. "We were embarrassed, we were celebrating," Ballard told 60 Minutes. "And all of a sudden we realized that we should not be dancing on someone's grave." It took years to calculate where undersea currents carried the wreck. Even after landing on the ocean floor, ocean currents could still sweep away lighter pieces of shipwrecks, creating an even larger area to search for the wreckage. Robert Ballard engineered the Argo to solve that problem. The submersible could stay underwater for weeks, covering a much wider section of the seafloor. Still, the search for the Titanic seemed nearly impossible. However, Ballard learned something in his secret mission to find the submarines. As he suspected, the submarines left behind a long debris trail of lighter material pushed by ocean currents. He hoped that the Titanic would similarly have a long trail, increasing the odds of finding something in his search. Rather than looking for the hull itself, Ballard decided to search for the debris trail. No one knew exactly where the Titanic struck an iceberg. Locating the Titanic posed an enormous challenge because no one knew exactly where the ocean liner struck the fateful iceberg. Around 11:45 p.m. on April 14, 1912, the Titanic collided with an iceberg. But the ocean liner's last fixed position had been recorded 4 hours earlier. When the Titanic sent out a distress call, it only gave an inexact position. The estimate, based on the last fixed position, the ship's direction, and the distance the crew assumed the ship had covered, wasn't exact enough to pinpoint the location. In addition, no one knew exactly how far the ship moved after making impact. A result, decades of searching for the Titanic wreckage turned up nothing until Ballard's 1985 expedition. Robert Ballard was given 12 extra days as a cover story. In 1985, Robert Ballard set out on a covert Cold War mission to find a sunken submarine. But publicly, Ballard said he was simply looking for the Titanic. After he found the wreckage of the USS Scorpion, Ballard had just 12 days left in his mission to find the Titanic. To search for the sunken ocean liner, Ballard teamed up with the French Research Institute, which scouted the area where Ballard believed the Titanic sank more than 70 years earlier. However, the French research team had spent 5 weeks trawling the sea without finding anything. Ballard would have only a fraction of that time to locate the Titanic. The Navy was looking for 2 sunken submarines from the 60s. The Navy had no interest in finding the Titanic. They did want to find 2 submarines that sank in the 1960s. The USS Thresher and the USS Scorpion both went down in the North Atlantic and both carried powerful nuclear reactors. The Navy wanted to know whether the Soviets had shot down the subs and whether their nuclear material remained 15,000 feet under the sea. In the early 1980s, Robert Ballard asked the Navy to fund the Argo, which could take pictures at a depth of 20,000 feet. To Ballard, the Argo would allow him to finally find the Titanic. But the Navy saw another purpose for the robot. It could photograph the nuclear subs. The Navy agreed to secretly fund the project if Ballard could map the sunken subs. Robert Ballard's mission in life was to find the Titanic. Robert Ballard spent years earning doctoral degrees in marine geology and geophysics. He helped design a manned submersible named Alvin to explore the deep sea. Ballard also helped discover the first hydrothermal vents in the Pacific. But for Ballard, his life goal was discovering the wreckage of the Titanic. "I always wanted to find the Titanic," Ballard said. "That was a Mt. Everest in my world, one of those mountains that had never been climbed." In the 1980s, Ballard had a chance to search for the Titanic, and he partnered with a surprising group, the US Navy.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.